I'm Chef Ken Arnone, and right now we're going to talk about purchasing and cooking whole fish. If you're buying a fish fillet that has already been skinned and there's no identity, you really don't know that that's the exact type of fish that you're looking for. The next thing is freshness. It's a good possibility that if you purchase a whole fish from a reputable fishmonger, that it has had less travel and it's going to be fresher. By cooking the fish whole, you're going to get more flavor out of the fish itself. Make sure that you're purchasing your fish from a reputable fishmonger. Go talk to them, let them know you'd like to try out roasting whole fish. Ask them what type of fish they have in, what's in season, and then also ask them when they get their deliveries in. That's really important to understand. Now, storage is really important when it comes to handling fresh fish. You'd have it in a perforated pan or a pan that has holes in it inside of another pan, and the fish itself would be standing straight up so that it looks like it's swimming, and it would be packed in ice. Obviously, you might not in your home have the ability to store such a large pan, so what you can do at home is you can take a glass dish or an earthenware dish. You can place the fish inside of there with Ziploc bags filled with ice. The other important point is that you want to buy the fish as close to the day that you're going to cook it as possible. Now we'd like to talk about what you should look for when purchasing a fish. Number one, you're going to smell the fish. And what you want to make sure is that the fish smells like salt water, like the ocean. And over here, these are not quite so pleasant. The next thing that you're going to look for is the overall appearance of the fish itself. So there should be no bruising or cuts on the flesh. And in addition to that, it's okay if the surface looks very slick and shiny, but it should not be very dried out like this, nor should it be kind of sticky and a kind of gluey feeling on the outside. The next important thing to do is to look at the eyes. You want to make sure that the eyes are bulging and nice and clear. They should not be cloudy or sunken into the head. So you can see on these two fish that they are starting to sink back in the head, and beginning to get a little bit on the cloudy side. You can really notice that here on this one. The next thing is that the scales, if you run your finger against the side, you know that the scales are not popping off. They do hold well on there. These fish, already you can see some of the scales have already popped off and are away from the body itself. The last piece is that you like to make sure that the flesh is firm and bounces back and does not sink in. On the fish over here, once you press it, it stays sunken down. It's very soft, and this is not a good quality fish. Another important point is to make sure that you check the gills on the fish. So on our fish that we have here, you just want to pop open what's called the gill plate, and you can see inside. Now, the gills are nice and bright colored, pink and reddish, and there is a little bit of mucus on there, which is kind of very natural, but you want to make sure that it's clear and that it's not very cloudy. And on these fish here, once you open up the gill plate, you can see that it's very gray. There's really no pink to it, and it's incredibly, incredibly slimy and cloudy as well. It would be helpful to have your fishmonger scale the fish for you, but if not, and you want to do that yourself, here's a quick demonstration on that. Make sure that when you are scaling that you're getting right up towards the top of the fins, and again from the tail working towards the head of the fish. And of course you have to take care of both sides of the fish. Now if you do not have a scaler or you don't want to purchase a scaler, another option for you to use would be to use the back part of a knife. And now it's time to prepare your fish for cooking. So one of the things that you'd like to do is make sure that you rinse and pat dry the fish right before you're going to begin to prepare it. First, you can see these fins that are on the base here, and we're going to snip those off. We're also going to take the side fins off, and you'll notice right on the base here that there is also another set. We'll take this side off as well. And then the back fins, and then the tail. Now, one of the last pieces that you'd like to do, which is kind of really important here, is you want to, if you're leaving the head on, you want to take the gills out. And if you prefer not to cook the fish with the head on it, all you have to do is ask your fishmonger to remove the head, and then this step obviously is already taken care of for you. Flip to the other side, and again the same. Just snip right underneath, to remove the gills easily. Now what we're going to do is we're going to score or make some slits in the outside of the flesh to ensure even cooking. We do those in, depending on the size of the fish, 3 to 4 cuts. Turn it over, and very gentle pressure. You don't want to cut through the backbone, just down to the backbone, and that's quite enough. We're going to open up the cavity of the fish, sprinkle a little bit of sea salt inside of there, and we're going to put some parsley stems whole, and I'm going to put a couple of slices of lemon in there as well. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take some extra virgin olive oil, drizzle on the outside of the fish, a bit on the inside, turn that over, and then the last step is going to be to season the outside. And I'm going to use sea salt, cracked black pepper. This fish is now ready for cooking in the oven. There's a lot of other fish that we can use for cooking in this same manner. Now we're going to place this in a 350-degree oven. All right, and now our fish has been in the oven for just about 12 minutes, 13 minutes, and we want to be able to check it. If you take a fork and just go down inside where you scored, and you can see that the flesh easily pulls away from the bone, you know that the fish is cooked. This is how we would roast a whole branzino.